Yo, what's good with y'all, man? Back again, back to back, back to back. What I tell y'all, man, I do. Hey, man. So something else I've been doing. Like as I discussed in the last video, life has been life, and I've been busy. But something I've been, part of what I mean by life has been life, and is I've been trying to really buckle down and get closer to God, and really trying to grow. And one thing I've really been trying to work on is keeping my word and being a man of my word, right? So, I know yesterday I told you guys that I was going to do this article because it was, a little, and that's another thing that I love so much about researching and, being a writer, a researcher, a historian is that, like, the rabbit hole, it never ends. Every time I research something, I look something up, I find an article, and then it has a link to another article, or it has like a book recommendation. Then I go get that book, and then it has other book recommendations and other information. It's just like an endless. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful, man. Anyway, I thought that this would be a great article. I have not read it yet. I'm trying to, give you guys completely, like fresh. I'm reading this with y'all. I'm just give y'all my opinion. Anyway, man, let's just get into it. This is gonna be a lot shorter than yesterday. I'm not gonna take too much of your guys' time today. So the title of the article is Oakland Recycler Discovers New Hope on the Street. On the street, as 21 Savage would say. Keith Arvinwine was a homeless recycler on the streets of Oakland before turning his life around. He now has stable housing and is a respected advocate at St. Mary's Center, serving on their Council of Elders. Good for him, Keith. Good for you. Let's hear your story. Memoir by Keith Arvinwine, as told by Lauren Kawana. People have, I don't know, these last names I've never seen. In the last two articles I've read, I've probably seen the most exotic last names, more exotic last names than I've ever seen at any other point in my life. But anyway, when I was living on the streets, I was running from life. Man, aren't we all? I had no responsibility. It was just to get away from reality. This is what I choose to do. Or this is what I chose to do. Yeah, this is what I chose to do. I was born and raised in Oakland in the late 80s and early 90s. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me restart this. I was born and raised in Oakland. In the late 80s and early 90s, I owed someone money I couldn't pay and was forced to leave my surroundings. I ended up with the homeless, hiding out. I adopted their way of life. I got comfortable. Mm. I began recycling. I was a regular out there. I got my buggy or shopping cart and began the habit of looking for things people threw out. I would sometimes take my recycling to Alliance Metals. I didn't like digging through the trash, so I mostly found items left on sidewalks and resold them. Either way, it was a journey. Recycling was a job. I would get up early to find things and get to the recycling center before it closed at 4 p.m. After a drop off, I might go on another run just to get a little extra money. Employees from recycling centers will come home from work and buy recycling from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. at their homes for half the price, catering to people who just need a few dollars. Other folks run other recycling operations all night, some out of their trucks, but they pay even cheaper. At the end of it, you may get a few hours of sleep. You burn out. Man, sounds like honestly, I briefly touched on this in the last article. Like when I hear these stories of homeless people, is their way of life really so different than anybody else's? The people who are in the house, the people who have jobs and are even affluent. Like, is it really so different? Especially people that work in corporate jobs. Like, it's anyway. People also have the recycling neighborhoods, areas where they've been recycling for years. If you come into their territory, you're gonna have a problem. This could happen here in West Oakland or up north in Berkeley. If you're not a real tough person, you worry about something being done to you and doing something to somebody. It's a whole other world. I would often tell myself at the end of a long day of recycling, wouldn't it be nice if I just had a regular 8 hour job? A 9 to 5 job where I could actually sleep and rest and be by myself? But this is how we survive. The closing of Alliance Meadows is like closing a factory, like Delmont and Emeryville, where hundreds of people lost their jobs. All recyclers are entrepreneurs. Wow, what a statement. All recyclers are entrepreneurs. Imagine that. What is an entrepreneur? I don't know the exact definition, but I'm gonna just off the top of my head, it's someone who starts a business, right? Who is self employed. Is that man? That is think about that, y'all. All recyclers are entrepreneurs. All those homeless people you see out there are entrepreneurs too. So don't be frowning upon them. You know hey man, they again, we going back to talking about how the homeless people and their lifestyle is, and obviously, it's not one to one, but just their life and what their life looks like is not that far apart from what the normal 9 to 5 work life looks like. But with homeless people, they also can work whenever they want to. They don't have to work on certain days if they want to. They also might not eat or drink, but I mean, still, like you don't have to go to work out. There are certain freedoms that are associated with that as well, but all recyclers are entrepreneurs. Very, very powerful line. Um, the closing of I'm sorry, I lost my place, y'all. The closing of Alliance Meadows is like close. Oh, I'm sorry. When dang, where was I? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here we are. All recyclers are entrepreneurs. Every day they hustle to bring cans and bottles to the center, but they won't get unemployment. Everybody's stuck. Interesting. When Alliance Metals closes, the recyclers will likely start stealing and doing whatever they have to do to survive. I'm not saying it's right, but what else are they going to do? While you do have some bad seeds, you have a lot of people who do this to live for positive things. They're part of the neighborhood too. After living as a recycler for so long, I didn't think there was another way. From 1993 through 2012, I was in and out of the penitentiary and in and out of this lifestyle. I became a squatter. I would find an abandoned house and sell drugs. I was stealing and selling drugs and not using them, but I was no better than anyone else. It's really sad when you say you're all right with it. It's a really dark place. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the concept about how so many people are able to sell drugs and not do them. Um, but I'll save that for a future video. My family would come looking for me, and I would say to them, I'm fine. I was not ready to do something different. My son, my family, my mother, nobody could force this on me because I had to retrain myself from within. Mm. In 2012, I was arrested for possession of stolen property. It was the best thing that could have happened to me. This time, Mom, ruining my. This time felt different. I knew I was touched by the grace of God. While I was in jail, I met a man who told me really good things about St. Mary's Center in Oakland. When I got out, I went straight to St. Mary's and entered the winter shelter. I had nothing but the clothes on my back and the desire to change. Man. Just looking at these pictures here. I'm going to use this as a thumbnail. Continuing. St. Mary's is down the street from the lifestyle I knew. So at first, I didn't want to be there. But something pushed me forward. I lived at the winter shelter for 4 months. At the shelter, I was introduced to all kinds of programs. I went to classes every day that covered things like money management, changing your emotions, even art. The art instructor, Susan Werner, used to say, draw whatever is on your mind. I drew the abandoned house in my old lifestyle, the buggy in front of the house down the street, until one day I told her, I'm cool. I don't want that anymore. I have a different desire. That's when I drew a picture of my apartment. Apartment in quotations before I got it. I no longer wanted that homeless lifestyle and buggy pushing. I had to take the time to be reborn from within. Everything starts from within. Then I made a plan. Once you make a decision to do something different in life, you have to have a plan. With a stable place to stay, I applied for general assistance and was able to get a bus pass, a BART pass, and eventually a cell phone. With just a little money to build with, everything started. Now at 60 years old, I've been living in my own apartment for 3 years. Man, good for him. But I was also gonna say real quick, man, please let me remember this at the end of the article because I have a whole discussion that I want to do. But the concept of you have to have a plan. Once you make a decision to do something and to make a major life change, you have to have a plan. I completely agree because from experience, as you've been on this channel, y'all know the Conquering Addiction series. I tell you guys like what has been working for me, what hasn't been working for me, but really part of the reason why I'm still trying to conquer those addictions is because I really didn't have a plan. I had a goal, I had a vision, an image, but I really didn't have a plan, man. So and so make a plan and commit your plans to the Lord, and you cannot lose. Continuing, I'm sorry, yeah. I come to St. Mary's Center to talk with others. I encourage them and give them something positive to see. I have seen a lot of people make transformations similar to mine. When I was living on the streets, some people gave me a few dollars here and there, but never once would they try to make me feel like I was a bad person. That's why I never say anything negative. I always try to be positive and encouraging. When I see the folks I used to live around, they say, "You was right there with us." Whatever you have to say, I'll listen because you understand what we are going through. I have to be strong enough to be around these people so I can offer that encouragement. 3 years later, I'm still learning new things. I want to be here to show people they have a choice, just like somebody did for me. Man, what a great article. So first of all, man, I don't know who needed to hear this, but this is a word. I know y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to just get right into it. So I'm going to know, because you here for a reason, right? So with me, being homeless, right, is being in that estate, whether being like in the wilderness, right? In the Bible, all the great prophets, Jesus, whoever, everybody, they all had certain seasons where they were out in the wilderness. And really think about like being in the wilderness. It's like being homeless, bro. Like you out, man, it's tough. It's tough. And man, when you come out the like it, I don't even know how to articulate it, but hopefully this this speaks to you. It shows you. So when you are in bondage and you are in, I guess that when you're in sin, when you're losing that war, um, this is how you get out. He just gave you the game plan about how you get out. You got to trust God. Something terrible is gonna happen to you. And you have to. I don't want to say it, bro. Scratch that. That probably just scared you guys. I don't know, man. I'm not. This is why I like to write things out because I can crystallize and compartmentalize my thoughts. But yeah, man, this is a very inspiring story. I'm very, very happy for Keith. Hopefully I didn't just like ruin the whole video with that little failure of a little spiritual, in-depth sermon. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for listening as always. And I'll see y'all soon, man. Bye, Chance.